Hello, everyone, and welcome to another APO Productivity Talk from APO Secretariat, Tokyo, Japan. I am Tanvir of Agriculture Division. Today, we will discuss a very important topic, that is agricultural insurance related with food security and rural productivity. Agriculture insurance is getting more important and vital in context of current situation. Previously, agriculture insurance often treated more related with natural calamity or disaster. But COVID-19 situation lesson us how agriculture insurance is more vital. Agriculture insurance is not related with crop production, supply chain management, food security. Even it's important for farmers' health insurance, perspective. And when all governments actually asking people to stay at home, farmer has no choice to stay at home other than work in the field. And thus, we have to consider agriculture insurance, how to more inclusive and how it can be more related with the current agricultural policy in the APO member countries. So we are happy that today we have two eminent resource persons from Bangladesh and Switzerland who has long experience on agriculture insurance and reinsurance matter. And I'd like to introduce with you that Dr. Olena Sosenko, she is from Switzerland. And Olena actually has long experience, 25 years of experience on agricultural research, agriculture insurance, reinsurance, and also she actually helped many countries in Asia and Europe for developing their country agriculture insurance policy. So how are you, Dr. Olena? I know it's very early morning in Zurich. Thank you for joining with us.
Thank you, Tanvir.
Thank you very much. And we have another resource person from Bangladesh, Mr. Syed Shahriar Hassan. He is the managing director of Sadhan Bima Corporation, government of Bangladesh. Just for your information, the Sadhan Bima Corporation is a state-owned agency. It is completely and fully organized and dealings with all sort of general and different kind of insurance, and it is under the Ministry of Finance, Government of Bangladesh. And Mr. Hassan, he has actually 33 years long experience in the insurance industry, and also he is very popular in terms of underwriting, insurance, reinsurance, claims, marketing. And we will be happy to get Mr. Hassan today in our session. So, Mr. Hassan, thank you very much for joining with us. How are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Tanvir, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much. So, before going to our session, I will request our audience to put or drop your message or questions in our chat box so that we will try to address those after during the Q&A session. So with these viewers, I like to request Dr. Olena to give your presentation, and we like to hear from you that why agriculture insurance is more important than before, and what your insight about this. So Dr. Olena, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say great thanks to Asian Productivity Organization for the opportunity to speak today. And from my multi-years and multi-countries experience, I would be happy to share with you some insights about agriculture insurance. Agriculture production is one of the most essential industries for any country. It doesn't matter the food is produced by small or big farmers, it is sold in the streets or supermarkets, it is still creates the basic foundation for the country population existence. In Asian countries, the agricultural products are mostly produced by the smallholder farmers. There are the farmers with different sizes and different levels of technological sophistication. However, they still can be considered as small in comparison with big agricultural holdings in Western countries, Russia, or even China. In order to grow the crop, any farmer needs to invest in the beginning of the season to buy seeds, fuel, fertilizers. The difference in the size of this investment between small farmers and big holdings might be not that significant. However, the final outcome of crop productivity is substantially different. While smallholder farmers um, receive by average the yield level of wheat at rice like 2 tons per hectare, the big sophisticated holdings reach much higher crop varieties potential, respectively 9 tons per hectare of wheat and 6 tons per hectare of rice. And the same about milk yielding, the difference can reach as high as 5 times. The low productivity enables farmers only to cover their investment or production cost, but it doesn't leave them a good margin for a decent life through the year till the next season harvesting. Thus, the farmers live on the edge of basic survival and definitely don't have the resources for the farm modernization or for the situation of unexpected disasters like now, for example. Means they have a low resilience to the adverse situation. Food security is the food accessibility for the entire country population. Here you see the official definition of food security by Food and Agriculture Organization, and two completely different situations. The excessive festive table in Poland and food help to starving people in some Asian mosques. It is essential to have the certain equality in the access to the quality food for all people in the country. Farm production is the open sky industry that is permanently prone to various risks. Hurricanes, typhoons, floods, droughts can smash the entire fields and villages. This negatively influences the farmer's existence and operation. At the same time, the country food security is conditioned by uninterrupted agricultural production. The risks that farmers are facing affect various aspects of their being, their production, their belongings, their life and health, their finance. In order to assure farmers' ability to produce food uninterruptedly, somehow all these aspects need to be protected. At the current time of COVID, there is a danger to the agriculture production contingency. Thus, there is a danger to the food security. Since April 2020, besides the usual natural disaster, farmers faced additionally a substantial disruption in the agriculture value chain. The markets where they can sell products have been closed, roads are closed, and some truck drivers abandoned the trucks full of agricultural products in the middle of the road. Farmers could not invite the temporary labor for harvesting. While everybody was placed in the quarantine self-isolation, farmers still need to go to the fields, gardens, and continue their activities. This creates a danger to the farmers' health. The input supplies increase their prices for their products. The traders cannot reach farmers to buy their products. As a result, many farmers appear to be in very depressive financial situation, being so weakened how they can continue their production in the next season. There is the potential solution to all these problems. It is insurance. Primarily, I mean agriculture insurance that covers the production risk of not receiving on the plant level of the yields or animal products due to natural disasters and biological factors. But along with this, the health insurance, life insurance, property insurance, and financial insurance are also important. And that would be the entire spectrum of the insurance programs that would cover all farmer needs. On this slide, you see various benefits that insurance bring, but such list could be substantially extended. So, insurance is protecting the investment. It is reducing the severity of losses, or better to say, mitigating the financial impact of losses on the farmers. It is smoothing the income volatility, allowing investment into the new technology, thus improving the productivity. It is reducing the poverty. It is giving the protection in case of bankruptcy, which in some cases means saving life. if we remember constant suicide of Indian farmers in case of crop losses from drought, for example. Going forward, in my presentation, I will focus more on the agriculture insurance in itself. One of the prominent and necessary elements of the strategy for any company and policy for any country nowadays is the Sustainable Development Goals. Here you can see 5 most essential SDG goals and the triangles indicating where the insurance can help achieving these goals. So increasing productivity, improving livelihoods, enhancing the farmers and community resilience to the adverse scenarios, adapt to the new challenges, for example, to climate change or to the epidemic scenarios like in the current year. So we acknowledge that the agriculture insurance is important and beneficial, but what is the best form to establish and run it? There are various forms of the system that provide certain help or risk management to the farmers. The most primitive of them is the ad hoc government disaster relief. To some extent, it is still present in all countries. Such help could be more structured and institutionalized through the disaster pool or government-sponsored insurance programs. A more sophisticated and more efficient form is the public-private partnership, when the government and private insurance companies share their responsibilities for the agricultural risk. Some countries have fully private agriculture insurance system without any government intervention, but it doesn't mean that farmers there don't have any other support from the government besides insurance. On this slide, you see the examples which country practices which type of the system. The private system is mostly possible in the Western countries with a strong economy and strong capitalization of insurance. The Asian countries have or pure public or private-public partnership systems. Further, I will give more detailed examples how the system works in the certain countries. Let's look at India. First, I highlight on key points that characterize the country. India has lots of big amount of farmers, around 120 million. All of them are smallholder farmers. They usually risk low rainfall, price volatility, very unstable income that leads to high debts, water scarcity, limited access to the resources and healthcare. There are also other problems that are coming from natural disasters and biological factors. Coronavirus outbreak made the life of Indian farmers even more challenging. Due to the quarantine restrictions, farmers could not invite the seasonal staff for rabi season harvesting. They could not sell or deliver their products to the ultimate markets, and simultaneously they experienced losses from the hurricane and locust outbreak in some regions. India has the agriculture insurance system in place since a long time, but this system was changing its shape and concept historically a few times. The system that exists now was launched in 2016, and it would be a good example of public-private partnership. Named after the Prime Minister of India, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yohana, sorry for my pronunciation. This program generates currently around 3.5 billion euro insurance premium. This puts Indian agriculture insurance market into 3 world's biggest markets along with US and China. Currently, it covers around 50 million farmers. However, the Indian government has the strategy even to increase this market penetration. In its core, it is the area yield index insurance with price and loss adjustment based on so-called crop cutting experiments. The current program covers only the crop. It doesn't cover the livestock. The frame insurance terms and rules are defined by the government, partly at the federal level and partly at the state level. State and private insurers are invited to participate in the state tenders in order to receive the regional allocation where they sell this insurance. Currently, 18 insurance companies participate in this program. The state subsidizes the insurance premium, making the price of insurance affordable for farmers. And in case of really high losses, the state provides reinsurance to insurance companies. The insurance premium is partly reinsured by a national company, a general insurance company, and the rest by international reinsurance. As any insurance program, the Indian one has its challenges. Still, 60% of the crop is not insured, especially high-value crops. Livestock is not covered by the subsidized program. The way how the government tenders are taken brings huge volatility into the insurance portfolios. So the insurers experience sometimes substantial problems with their insurance placement. In another word, such administration doesn't allow the balance of interest between public and private stakeholders. In Philippines, we can see an excellent example of the purely public system. Philippines has 5.2 million of smallholder farmers. The country is yearly affected by a big amount of typhoons, in average 22 per year, few of which can be really devastating for farmers. In order to address the issue of the yearly farmer losses, in 1981, the Philippine government launched the insurance program through Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation. PCIC is the state-owned organization that takes care about the entire spectrum of the farmers' needs. The program has a yearly budget of 62 million premium. The insurance premium is fully subsidized. PCIC has a comprehensive collection of insurance programs for crop, livestock, fisheries, credits, all farmers' properties and assets. Many of the agriculture insurance products are index-based, especially for crop. I was in one of the regional offices of PCIC and I was positively astonished by the excellence of the customer service provided by this organization. Being a purely publicly owned, PCIC in its early stage of existence was experiencing challenges with capitalization. Bangladesh still stands at relatively early stage of the agriculture insurance development. It profits from the initiatives of the government institutions and Green Delta Insurance Company. Further, you will have the separate presentation about the Bangladesh system. But here I want to share some testimonials of the farmers which they gave within the development projects. Literally quoting the farmer, agriculture insurance is a blessing for farmers and we want it for all kinds of crop. And another quote, whether index-based insurance is benefiting for farmers, farmers are satisfied with the program and seek the insurance for more type of crop. Farmers perceive insurance positively. They see in it the solution for the poverty reduction. Now back to general principles and conclusions. What should be a takeaway of this discussion? In your countries, you might have a different extent of agriculture insurance development from non to a developed system. In any case, it would be good practice to set up a country database that enables a clear understanding of the risk extent and relevant decisions from the stakeholders. In case it is feasible, set up a public-private partnership agriculture insurance system with shared responsibilities between public and private institutions. Within the PPP system, the government could provide support in the form of the proper insurance regulation, of the subsidy for the insurance premium and backup for the catastrophic losses. Also, the good practice is to invest into the capacity building or education and innovative technologies. All these investments will ultimately turn into the improved agriculture productivity, increase the farmers' resilience to the adverse situation, stable country food security, and achieve sustainable development goals. So, agriculture insurance can save farmers from the bankruptcy and the government from default. It plays an important role in reducing the vulnerability of the national food system to acute food shocks, thereby contributing to resilience and sustainability. Thank you for your attention. Later, we will have the Q&A sessions. You can ask your questions, but if you come to your questions later after this event, you can email me this question to this email address. Thank you very much.
Full presentation. Definitely, we will back to you from at our Q&A session. And it is good to hear some of the good examples from India and Philippines, as well as agriculture insurance. It is understandable that it is not only the crop insurance, livestock, fisheries, all sort of other component in agriculture, also part of the agriculture insurance. So now I'd like to invite Mr. Hassan to share your thoughts on how government can take initiative to promote the agriculture insurance in wider rural farmers, and what are the challenges remains and how it should be addressed. So Mr. Hassan, we'd like to request you to give your presentation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Tanvir, and also to Asian Productivity Organization for giving me the opportunity to say something about agricultural insurance in the context of Bangladesh. And I must extend my thanks to Dr. Olena for her excellent presentation in the context of the different countries. So before starting my presentation, I must give you a bird's eye view of our country very quickly. Bangladesh, as you know, Bangladesh is a vastly populated country with a population of 161 million of people within a so small space of period. And this location of the country is in the west, north and northwest is India, in the southeast Myanmar, in the south South Bay of Bengal. Our currency is taka, which is equivalent to 84 taka is equal to $1. Our climate is subtropical. Temperature is 7.22 to 22.77 degrees centigrade in winter and 23.88 to 38.5 degrees centigrade in summer. Our average rainfall is 1,429 to 4,338 millimeter per year. Main profession is agriculture, and total agricultural land is 14.3 million. Bangladesh produces different crops in Bangladesh. Different crops are produced in Bangladesh. And main crop is rice, that is paddy, that is 78.16% of the total population. Thanks. As you know, Bangladesh rural economy and especially agriculture have been powerful drivers for poverty reduction in Bangladesh since 2000. Indeed, agriculture accounted for 90% of the reduction in poverty between 2005 and 2010. More than 70% of Bangladesh's population and 77% of its workforce lives in rural areas. Nearly half of all Bangladesh's workers and two-thirds in rural areas are directly employed by agriculture, and about 87% of rural households rely on agriculture for at least part of their income. Bangladesh has made commendable progress over the past 40 years in achieving food security. Despite frequent natural disasters and population growth, with one of the fastest rate of productivity growth in the world since 1995, averaging 2.7% per year, second only to China. Bangladesh's agriculture sector has benefited from a sound and consistent policy framework backed by substantial public investment in technology, rural infrastructure, and human capital. But Bangladesh is among the most vulnerable countries to climate change, which poses a long-term threat to the country's agricultural sector, particularly in areas affected by flooding, saline intrusion, and drought. Next slide. The agriculture is, as I said, the agriculture is a key driver in reduction poverty. The factors behind the agriculture sector growth is irrigation expansion, improved technology, that is high yielding varieties, more efficient markets, widespread mechanization. The priority actions now needed to take it more advanced is a balanced development strategy, or sorry, keep it, or pro growth, food security and nutrition, more rapid diversification in agriculture with balanced attention to rice, further improving the policy framework and rebalancing public expenditure priorities. Continue investment in connectivity for remaining economy secondary cities and rural areas, introducing comprehensive insurance policy for the crop, loss of mandates, and health insurance coverage for the farmers. Next slide now. Southern Bima Corporation, as you know, that is a state-owned insurance and reinsurance company of the country. Southern Bima Corporation first initiated crop insurance in 1977, but could not sustain. And another, they started a cattle insurance in 1977, which also couldn't continue because farmers were not that, because of their financial inability, and at the same time of their less awareness about these insurance benefits. After 2013, SBC and two more general insurance companies tested a few projects. SBC piloted weather index-based crop insurance in 2014 to 2018 in 3 districts, covering the 3 districts of Bangladesh, funded by Asian Development Bank and Bangladesh government, which was launched in February 2000. Aimed at testing index insurance to reduce the risk of climate variability and extreme weather vulnerability. It was tested in 3 districts, and then we have another pilot project we have introduced, that is satellite information based flood index based crop insurance, and on experimental basis in flash flood affected farmers in our area. And our achievement of weather index based crop insurance project was weather station we have installed 20, sensitization 16,426. We have enrolled 9,641 farmers. We paid claims to 8,236 farmers. The main the demand constraint from the farmers are, most farmers have just heard about insurance, but they are not aware about it, because the insurance is a fine tuning of awareness and ability. Our farmers, their income is very unstable, and they are living almost what I say, that is below subsistence level, so they cannot afford this premium, and moreover they are not aware the benefit of the insurance. So large scale formal credit mechanism not in place to seek such solutions, and at present cost farmers cannot afford it, because we have arranged only for a limited group of people. But if we can expand it to the whole country, then the cost will come down. The supply constraint is no rural insurance structure in place in Bangladesh. Nearly all insurance in Bangladesh is centered around urban pockets. Risk rating at crop insurance underwriting capacity is limited. Unavailability of granular weather data for rate making and insurance settlement. Regulation not available for development of rural intermediaries. Insurance and microcredit regulations are in conflict with each other. Crop insurance also includes VAT, which makes it more expensive. However, our key learnings from these pilot projects are strong farmers, that is rural people, have a strong demand for crop insurance because it helps them to survive or to quit from the profession. Farmers are looking for such solution but cannot afford it completely on their own. As I said, because their income is not stable and they need subsidy by the government. Whole country agriculture net, whole country's agriculture net, land needs to be covered through insurance, which will reduce cost. Lenders will provide loan covering insurance as a bundle product. This will protect the interest of lenders and the borrowers as well. Country has a strong distribution network, that is MFI and NGOs, but is still warming up to the idea of distribution of insurance. Reinsurance products can be designed for some regions in Bangladesh, and reinsurers are willing to take part of the basis risk if analyzed well. Technology-based payment mechanism, which will inspire farmers for getting expeditious claim settlement. Insurance, agricultural insurance should be tax-free, which should be partly subsidized, I think, which will be heavily subsidized, and it is important to keep the farmers invested in agriculture. Agriculture insurance has a very good prospect in Bangladesh because farmers perceive weather as most important risk to cover, clearly suggest large scope for index-based insurance. Market size is large enough for global reinsurance community. Significant credit support in the form of MFI loans for crop, cattle, fisheries, and poultry farms. A formal crop loan cover should bring the cost of this insurance down. We have challenges in introducing agricultural insurance. These are the most important is literacy, that is very limited and or no knowledge and understanding of insurance products. So we need to create more awareness about insurance. Infrastructure, microclimate information is very limited, and the weather data collection infrastructure at the national level is not decentralized. The current Insurance Act does neither have any specific provision relating to microinsurance, nor to agriculture and disaster insurance. Knowledge on crop insurance product development is limited, and or no knowledge in insurance company in Bangladesh. No rural insurance structure is in place in Bangladesh. Farmers cannot afford it, being a coverage of covariant risk. Insurance premium of an index insurance programs are usually very high. There is some now we can say how to scale up of index insurance. We can suggest here to create a proposition of real value to the insured and offer insurance as part of a wider package of service. Build the capacity and ownership of implementation stakeholders. Increase client awareness of index insurance products. Trusted, credible intermediaries and insurers. Improve the infrastructure and related quality of data like weather and production. Products to promote continuous improvement, coverage of right risk. Payouts should be transparent, variable, understandable, and quick. Access to international risk transfer market. Smart subsidies for disaster relief insurance product. Index insurance is very effective tool to institutionalize disaster relief and ensure timely and adequate settlement in case of disaster, and promote enabling legal and regulatory framework. I think I have come to the conclusion, and I must extend thanks to all for
Yeah,
your.
thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you very much, Mr. Hassan, for your insight presentation. It's good to know the update of Bangladesh, particularly in, as you said, the agriculture insurance is still not very much in maturity stage and it is underdeveloped stage. And I'm sure that today's discussion definitely will give some opportunity us to make more strengthening the agriculture insurance in country like Bangladesh. Because as Bangladesh is one of the most agrarian country in the world, highly populated, and rice production even it is number third in position in the world. So in various aspects, actually, there are huge opportunity to work in Bangladesh, the agriculture insurance policy. And I'm sure that today's discussion will give some opportunity the government, financial institutions, as well as the private insurance company. They will also get some idea and they will boost up to take the agriculture insurance in the mainstream agriculture policy and the financial institution main programs. So definitely we will discuss those things in our Q&A sessions. And before going to the Q&A session, I would like to request the audience, viewers, please drop your questions in our chat box so that we will quickly go through your questions and we will ask to our experts. So between this time, I like to request Olena to just give me one clear idea that I can understand that agriculture insurance is very important, but so far in your presentation, I can see that not many countries actually equally developed in agriculture insurance. So what your views on that? Why that has not happened actually?
Yeah, this is a very good question. Actually, the whole agriculture insurance system is the complicated things. It requires the collaboration of many organizations. It requires very technical knowledge. It requires very detailed development of the product and of the connections, of the distribution channels, and so on. So then it requires very strong acknowledgement, first of all, especially from the government and from other institutions, that yes, we want to establish this in our country, and yes, we are willing to invest into this. So the investment in the initial stage is needed until it starts flowing and it starts working by itself. And maybe some countries reach this acknowledgement early, and some countries still coming to this acknowledgement now, especially with the climate change. Also, not all countries have equally the same possibility for the investment, and many countries already use the help of the international organizations, international donors. And I personally participated in different development projects that are funded by the international donors. And this is actually the opportunity for those countries who want to start this system.
Thank you very much, Dr. Olena. May I ask Mr. Hassan that actually, you know, the most of the cases we see that farmers actually taking the all risk while they do the production, and they are taking risk of natural disaster, calamities, even the selling their products. So all the way they are taking the all responsibility. So do you think that if agriculture insurance can provide to the small scale farmers, the overall productivity and the food security will be strengthened, and particularly in terms of farmers' health insurance or an overall agriculture insurance perspective?
Thank you. It's a very good question. Of course, agricultural insurance will uh, promote to promote for more further growth of the farmers and to improve their lifestyle, because agriculture's peoples who are involved in agriculture, their income is very unstable. Agricultural insurance improves farmers' credit worthiness and opens the door to agricultural credit and inputs. Agricultural insurance can act as a catalyst for enhanced productivity. Farmers can use it as collateral to agricultural lenders, providing them with access to credit markets needed for investment, such as fertilizer and enhanced seeds, which in turn can boost productivity. Marginal farmers who have very limited access to climate risk adaptation tool can also be benefited from the agricultural insurance in terms of avoiding loan default, providing a safety net against income shock, access to credit, higher investment in agriculture, health hazards, and also loss of man days during their bad days. Farmers are generally exposed to various health hazards in our country, so we can bring them under coverage of health or personal accident as additional peril of crop, and they will feel more secure and their productivity will be increased. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Hassan. I'd like to ask Dr. Olena that different countries actually uses different type of systems. Some are private, some are public. So why that is happening? What is there any particular reason that different type of insurance schemes?
Yes, sure. There is the reason behind this. Like it depends who takes the high initiative. Like as I mentioned, the private system exists more in the developed countries where the insurance companies probably took the initiative because they want to expand their business, and they develop the product by themselves. They deliver this product to the farmers, and they are developing this business in the collaboration with their insurers and so on and so on. And also in those countries the farmers sort of more stronger financially, they can buy this product. But in the developing countries, this insurance is too expensive for the farmers. It always requires the help of the government, the subsidy for the insurance. But usually, when the government needs to step in, it requires the specific law, legislation, the specific infrastructure, many decisions from the government side, and allocation of money from the government side, and usually it's more inert. But in the developing countries, it cannot exist just as a private. So then all comes to the initial country structure and connections between different stakeholders in the countries and the financial possibilities of all of these stakeholders. Actually, last year I participated in the development project in Palestine. This country is not a member of Asian Productivity Organization, but still is the example of the developing countries. And we were working with the state disaster relief and insurance funds, and they are very keen on starting agriculture insurance, and they want to fulfill the maximum of the functions around this agriculture insurance, but they don't have the capitalization, they don't have the full permission of other stakeholders, and it has been like the endless discussion between different government organization, who should do what, and who should help, how, and so on and so on. So I wish them success to finalize this discussion and actually start the actual business.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Hassan, thank you, Bolana, for your sharing the thoughts. So, Mr. Hassan, I just want to know from you one thing, that one of the constraints what we've seen always, that the farmers' premium is one of the big issue. And unless the government support or share the insurance premium in case of farmer, it is often difficult for farmers to be inclusive and to be aware. And actually the same question we received from one of our viewers, Brigadier General Mufiz, retired, and he also asked the same questions, that how we like to make the beneficiaries more aware, so to know what is the benefit of agricultural insurance and how the bureaucracy can be reduced in the system. Mr. Hassan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Tanveer. Because as I said, our agriculture farmers are very poor, and moreover their literacy rate is also very low. So they don't have the awareness about the insurance, and moreover they don't have the ability to pay the insurance premium. I think to make it popular and for the greater interest of the country and for the food security, we will extend subsidy to the farmers, because in case of any disasters or any things like that, the government distributes huge amounts of money as relief. And in that scenario, what I will suggest, if governments gives a a small percentage of that relief, a small percentage of that relief amount to the for subsidizing the premium, then it will be very effective for the farmers to boost up the productions. Because now the farmers are yes, showing their interest to take insurance coverage, but because of their inability to pay, they could not obtain. They are failing to get this coverage. Moreover, the spreading, we need to spread the insurance all over the country, so the cost of the insurance will come down. So I think the lenders should extend loan to the farmers, insurance as a bundle product that will benefit both of the farmers as well as the lender. Larger scale farming coverage, so cost could be minimized and agricultural insurance will be viable. Conduct awareness programs countrywide so farmers would be aware about the benefit of agricultural insurance. I think all the government machineries in the root level must be utilized to make agriculture insurance more popular.
So
Because
thank you. We noted the explanation. Actually, we received a couple of questions from Bangladesh, particularly to you, Mr. Hassan. One of the questions we received from Dr. Rafiul Haq, and his question is that actually, you know, the Bangladesh has very successful microcredit system, and his question is whether it is possible to make or interconnect that microcredit system with the agriculture insurance scheme or not.
Of course, because as I said in my presentation earlier, also microcredit. It's a very good channel to reach the farmers very quickly, so they can easily introduce the agricultural insurance with their products.
And in that case, what is your advice for promoting the agriculture insurance country like Bangladesh? What should be the main channel? It should be from government supported schemes or the private supported scheme. Which one you feel more could be more effective in the
At the initial stage, it will be the government here, because without government subsidy, it will not be able to run. So, and at the same time, it can be done as a public-private partnership.
Thank you very much. I have another question to Dr. Olena, that how many years the agriculture insurance system requires to construct it or full function in a country? In general, what you feel actually?
Yeah, that's also a very good question. Yeah, that depends on many factors. It depends on the level of enthusiasm, level of investment, and amount of people that are involved in this. But realistically, what I'm observing based on this development project and based on these countries that they're just starting this system from scratch when they didn't have anything. So, like, you need to create the product, you need to do the trial of the product, you need to teach people to develop all the guidelines and set up the legislation and so on and so on. Usually it's minimum 3 years until the system start operating commercially, like till 3 years is rather the pilot and trials.
Okay. So do you think this is these 3 years is only for crop insurance or any sort of say livestock or fishery insurance as well?
All products that are chosen, because usually the choice of the primarily crop and livestock that need to be covered, it decided from the very beginning, and then the products are created in the very beginning. So you can do in parallel like different products.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So I just want to, Mr. Hassan or Dr. Olena, do you have any question each other so that you can ask if you want to know from anything from others' presentation?
Dr. Olena has made a very clear-cut presentation, and his concept is very clear, and he has given example of take example from there also. But at the same time, I am saying again and again that we need government subsidy, because if you look at India, it is most of the agricultural insurance are highly subsidized, and it differs from one state to another state. In some of the states, it is 80% also, but minimum is 50%. So I think to make agricultural insurance like a country like Bangladesh, I think we must get government subsidy at least for 3 to 4 years to make the people aware. At the same time, they will be able to know the social benefits of this insurance, and then we can run it commercially on private partner basis.
Yeah, actually, you are right, rightly mentioned. And what I feel that the government's always very much concerned about the food security, and they spend even for importing products if the crop is fail some way. So my concern is maybe government can give more support in terms of agriculture insurance rather than to purchase food from outside. That could be give some room our farmers, and they can feel more secure when they produce the food. So maybe the government institution like Shalomia Corporation can also consider to taking some program more widely and in-depth program in case of Bangladesh. And I have another question to Dr. Olena, that from your experience, what you like to give suggest like resource constrained countries like Bangladesh or different countries, that how the government can incorporate or support or include in the agriculture insurance into the mainstream agriculture policy. What your advice?
Yeah, I also want to thank Dr. Asan for the interesting presentation, and I can say that he's doing a difficult job from his side. But like what I observe in many cases, it's a matter of the right decision, of the like consciousness and right decision from the government. Once this decision is taken, and probably the process is going on, but like to make this right decision, sometimes it requires some time, it requires lots of discussion and so on. But look at risk properly, study the risk, like calculate economically what are the real losses to different stakeholders in the country in case of these disasters, in case of these unexpected situations. And then you will see, or the representatives of the government will see the economical balance of their policy, whether they should buy the food outside of the country or they support their own farmers in case of these disasters, and then it stabilizes the situation in their own country. And then when this right decision is taken, probably the government also can find the right resources in the country to establish this system. Actually, the presence of agriculture insurance also plays the role of the discipline for everybody, for different stakeholders and for farmers as well, because insurance requires the certain standard terms and the structure and preconditions for the farmer and for the crop to be insured. And this discipline the farmers, and this also help to implement the new technologies, to apply the new technologies. Actually, like India and many countries, they're very actively using the innovative technologies for exactly for the agriculture insurance. So it's not the easy way, it's not the easy road to develop this agriculture insurance, but once the efforts are there, it will pay off.
Yeah, no, I understand that it is not so easy, and the calculation, insurance, reinsurance, they are very complex and needed some very expert like you people. You can help the farmers to engage and incorporate. But my concern is, in my small knowledge on the subject, that previously actually agriculture insurance, we always think it is related with the production challenges, how to cover the challenges. But in the COVID situation, what I personally feel that it is associated with health as well, because when people are working from home, mostly but farmers are taking that risk and they are working from field. So it is not only their crop insurance or the livestock or fishery insurance. At the same time, their health concern also much needed to be considered, and the state should be think about this. So what are your views on that aspect? Can we incorporate the health insurance with the agriculture insurance together? Can we merge it? Anyone can respond, please.
Um, uh, so thank you, Mr. Tanvir. Because I pointed these things in my presentation, because farmers only crop insurance will not solve the problems, because to help the farmers to keep them in these professions, I think health insurance is a must, as well as during their bad days, the loss of their man days, because they are giving their direct mandates to production. So whenever there is a flood or like any bad situation, they becomes their earnings are hampered, and as they don't have any savings, so they are to borrow and or to mortgage their properties to somewhere else. To avoid all these things, I think there should be a comprehensive cover for farmers, which will include their health, as well mandates or employment, at the same time loss of crop.
Thank you very much. Olena, any comments on that?
Yes, I would like to add, yeah. In Anglo-Saxon countries, like in Australia, for example, there is such product that is called farm pack. It means it's covering, like it includes different types of insurance. It's covering all the aspects of the farmer existence, not only the crop, but also his machineries, his property, and probably his health and his credit, and so on and so on. Or I was showing in my presentation example of the Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation, and they have the spectrum of the products, of the insurance products, that they cover also all the aspects of farm being.
So thank you very much. Actually, the session has come to an end, and but I think we had very good discussion, and at least we can come up with such a issue that is very much important in the current context, and not only the current context, even the post-COVID situation. I am sure the agriculture insurance will be get more attention, and the government will also, all the governments will think about how it can be more included, inclusive, and part of the agriculture policy. So having these few words, and thank you very much again, Dr. Olena and Mr. Hassan, for your very inclusive and very much knowledgeable sharing that I'm sure the audience and the viewers are getting some good information. And I also like to thank all the viewers to joining this APO Productivity Talk. And I like to request all the viewers to continue to join our upcoming APO Productivity Talks. So with having these few words and good discussion, I'd like to end today's session. And again, thank to Dr. Olena and Mr. Hassan. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank all the viewers.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.